As Yang Jiang prepared to write an IOU in her notebook, Tian Kuo reached out and gently stayed her hand. Then a sudden inspiration struck. He thought of the perfect excuse for a date. He signed to her, inviting her to a movie, suggesting it as a way to pay back the bento. Since the tickets wouldn't cost him anything, it was an offer she couldn't refuse. But as Yang Jiang checked her planner, a look of hesitation crossed her face. Learning that the movie would last 2 hours, she quickly signed to Tian Kuo that it was too long as she had to rush off to her part-time job. Then once again she hurried away, leaving their budding date temporarily on hold. In the days that followed, Tian Kuo fell into that state of overthinking familiar to anyone experiencing their first love. He kept refreshing Yang Jiang's social media updates, but his messages remained unanswered. He began to feel insecure, endlessly overanalyzing everything. He even started talking to a potted plant on his desk.
Yang Jiang, what kind of jobs are you working anyway? Why don't you find a steady job? Working on these odd jobs is so exhausting, and the income is so unstable. What if you run into trouble out there?
This eccentric display was caught by his mother, who had come over after hearing him. This drew a merciless roast from his own mother. But persistence pays off. Just as Tian Kuo was about to be driven mad by his own overthinking, Yang Jiang's reply finally popped up on the screen. The two agreed to meet again at the pool. This conversation allowed Tian Kuo to gain a deeper understanding of Yang Jiang's life. As it turns out, Yang Jiang's mother passed away early, and her father is a missionary working in Africa year-round, and she and her sister Xiaopeng rely on each other, and her sister dreams of competing in the Deaflympics. To support her sister's training and the household expenses, Yang Jiang has to work 4 part-time jobs a day, scurrying across the city like a tireless spinning top. Hearing her story, Tian Kuo was deeply moved. In comparison, how fortunate his life had been as an only child. Beyond his affection for this fragile yet resilient girl, he felt an indescribable sense of tenderness and heartache. True affection means always worrying if she is well fed and warm. So early the next morning, Tian Kuo personally brewed a pot of pork rib soup with barley and lotus seeds for Yang Jiang. He also specially prepared a deluxe heart-filled bento with extra meat and eggs. He hopped on his beloved scooter to deliver this heavy dose of love to Yang Jiang's doorstep. Just as he was about to text her, Yang Jiang appeared behind him. Tian Kuo enthusiastically presented his masterpiece, and Yang Jiang couldn't help but marvel at it. "I'll be wearing these glasses for everyone to see this little misunderstanding." Before Tian Kuo could explain, Yang Jiang was already eagerly tasting the food, a blissful expression appearing on her face. Tian Kuo followed Yang Jiang into her home. This was his first time entering her living space with almost no partitions. The house felt remarkably spacious. Yang explains that hearing-impaired individuals rely on sight to supplement their hearing. This setup allows her to keep track of any activity in the house at all times. While browsing an album, Tian Kuo notices a photo blurred out like a mosaic. His imagination immediately begins to run wild, and he even gets a nosebleed from the excitement. Fortunately, she returns from the bathroom just in time, saving him from the embarrassment of bleeding out too much. Thank Tian Kuo for the bento and soup, and to treat him back with pride, Yang decides to work even harder. One of her part-time jobs is as a street performer on a bustling commercial street. She acts as a living statue, perfectly still, only dancing gracefully once a passerby drops a coin. It's her way of saying thanks while also stretching her stiff muscles. Tian Kuo took the day off specifically to keep her company all day long. Like a playful child, he makes funny faces around her, trying to make her laugh, but the professional Yang remains unfazed. Tian Kuo realizes this is her job, the source of her dignity and livelihood. So he stops his antics and simply watches over her silently, his gaze growing more tenderer. He has so much he wants to say to Yang, but their moments together are always so fleeting. Before he can even start, she is already rushing to her next shift. As night falls, Yang finally finishes her long day of work. She carefully counts her hard-earned coins, deciding to use this hard-won money to treat Tian Kuo to a proper meal. The two head into a bustling noodle shop at the night market. Letting the delicious aromas wash away the day's fatigue, their faces beam with contented smiles. However, just as they are about to pay, something unexpected happens. Yang pulls out a pocketful of coins, ready to count them out for the owner one by one. But counting the coins takes time, and the customers waiting in line are already growing impatient. Tian Kuo doesn't want to put the owner in a difficult position, nor does he want Yang Jiang to feel embarrassed in front of everyone. So he ignores her protests and quickly pulls out some cash to settle the bill. He thinks this is a thoughtful gesture, but he doesn't realize that this act is like a thorn deeply piercing the girl's fragile and sensitive pride. Those cold coins were earned by standing motionless under the scorching sun for hours on end. She wanted to use her most cherished earnings to repay his kindness. It was an expression of equality, a gift of dignity. But Tiankuo's effortless payment unintentionally devalued all her hard work, making her feel as though her sacrifices were being looked down upon. The smile vanishes from Yanjiang's face as they leave the noodle shop. No matter how Tiankuo tries to explain, she refuses to listen. The two have their first argument through sign language. The once romantic date ends on a sour note. A small rift begins to form between them. However, misfortunes never come singly. By the time Yanjiang returns home filled with grievance and anger, she finds smoke billowing from the building. A fire has broken out. Her sister Xiaopeng, unable to hear the neighbors' shouts or the alarms, was trapped inside and inhaled so much smoke that her respiratory tract was burned. She is rushed to the hospital. Looking at her frail sister in the hospital bed, Yanjiang is consumed by guilt and self-reproach. If only she hadn't gone on that date, if only she had come home earlier, her sister wouldn't have suffered like this. This guilt weighs on her heart like a massive boulder. What devastates her even more is accidentally overhearing a conversation among her sister's teammates. Her sister's injuries were more severe than expected. In addition to respiratory burns, her ribs were also injured. This will likely jeopardize her eligibility for the competition. This news was like a bolt from the blue, causing Yanjiang's world to shatter instantly. Her sister's dream was her own. It was the entire purpose behind her years of hard work. Now all of this might vanish into thin air because of her own negligence. From that day on, she decided to stop replying to any of Tiankuo's messages. She chose to shut herself off, punishing herself through avoidance, while trying to sever the feelings that were distracting her. Meanwhile, unaware of what happened, Tiankuo lost contact with Yanjiang and felt as if his entire world had lost its color. He searched for her in every place they had ever been together, but found no trace of her.